So in theory, stakeholders are supposed to adhere to international laws, but practically, does this happen? The question is not always, and I'm going to base this from my experience in the coverage of a war going on in northern Ethiopia, in the Tigray region. So we have on the one hand the government that is fighting the TPLF and its Tigrayan forces in the north, and all sides have been accused of human rights abuses. Now the problem is, and when we talk about international law, and when I say that stakeholders are not adhering to this, is that the pertinent issues of respecting the rights of the citizens, of respecting the rights of everybody who is involved, have been thrown out the window. So like I say, human rights abuses have been committed in not just the Tigray region, but also other regions in Ethiopia. All sides have been accused of rape, have been accused of atrocities like killings and things like that. But when it comes to the right of people to get information, that has gone away, because we're journalists, and it has become very difficult to report on there because these two sides are trying to control the narrative, and the government has refused journalists, for example, access to some of these areas where these atrocities are being committed, and that denies not just the citizen but the world the right to get proper information, because without access to these regions, journalists like myself cannot independently verify what is going on. So we have two sides that are trying to control this narrative, and we have to rely on these two sides that are players in this conflict to give us information that we cannot verify. So it becomes very difficult for us to do our job. It becomes very difficult for the citizens of Ethiopia, for example, to get the proper information, because we are only relying mostly on these two sources. And it's not just us, there's human rights organizations, there's the UN, they've all been denied access to these areas. So both sides, from my view and from my experience in Ethiopia, have failed to respect international laws. They've failed to respect the rights of the citizens. They have committed atrocities against citizens. Like I said, they've been accused of rape, they've been accused of mass looting, of destruction of property, of denying citizens access to food aid, for example, and then denying citizens the access to information, which is their right. And by this is denying journalists the access to these areas. So it becomes very difficult to tell this story. And that's why I say that all the tenets of international law have been thrown out the window by these two sides, making it very difficult and really making it very hard for the people of Ethiopia particularly to access the things that are their rights.